Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I have another episode of Field Tests. This is a video series where you, the viewer, suggest a weapon setup you would like me to try in a future episode, so what weapon and its attachments, and then I pick from the top 3 most thumbs up comments and then put one of them through its paces. And for today, I'm going to be trying out the L85A2 with the Kobra sight and heavy barrel attachment. This weapon was introduced in the Back to Karkin expansion pack, and I remember when I first unlocked it, I thought it was a beast of a weapon. I loved the way it sounded, it killed very efficiently, and it was just a great weapon, and that is still true for today. It has the standard damage model of all these assault rifles, so it's going to do 25 damage up close and 18.4 damage at long range. It also has a slow rounds per minute of 650, and with regards to its reload time, it's on the slow end of the assault rifles. If you have a bolt in the chamber, it's going to take you 2.8 seconds, but if you've gone through all of your ammunition, it's going to take you 3.4 seconds, and like I said, that is pretty slow, but because this is more of a long-range weapon, you really don't need to have an extremely fast reload time. If this weapon was more meant for close encounter engagements, that would have been a huge negative aspect of the gun, but because it's not, it's really not that large of a deal. And where this weapon really excels, at least in my opinion, is its recoil. It's only going to have a slight deviation to the left and the right, and it doesn't really have a lot of vertical recoil, and because you're going to want to use this for long-range engagements and long-range combat, it's perfect, at least in my opinion, for those circumstances. You have here that I should use the heavy barrel attachment, which I think is perfect for the L85. It's going to increase your accuracy at long range and also make you do more damage at medium range engagements. It will reduce your hipfire accuracy, but if you are using this in close encounter engagements, you're kind of using it wrong, and you should kind of try to stay away from those situations. It also is going to increase your vertical recoil, but to be honest, that's really not that large of an issue because, like I said, this thing doesn't really have a lot to begin with, so adding a little bit more just doesn't seem like that big of a deal. So in my opinion, the positive aspects of the heavy barrel completely outweigh the negative aspects, especially for this weapon, and just makes it a much more effective weapon for where it's good at, long range and medium range engagements. You have here that I should also use the Kobra sight attachment, and I wanted to thank you because it's easily my favorite sight in the game. Some would say and argue that the ACOG scope would be better on this gun because you're going to want to go for long-range targets, and that's going to allow you to see them easier and give you more visibility for those long-range engagements. And I would say, yeah, if you like the ACOG scopes or those higher optics scopes on the weapon, I say go for it. It's more of personal preference. I just like the Kobra sight a lot, and I don't really like to deviate my sights all that often, so I pretty much just use the Kobra sight on every gun. As you guys can probably tell, I absolutely love the L85A2 for long-range combat. The low RPM makes it extremely easy to stay on target, and that coupled with its manageable recoil is just, like I said, I cannot endorse this weapon enough for those engagements. It also does very well at medium range combat, but you're going to start running into trouble when you get into close encounter engagements. Because this weapon does have such a low RPM, when you go toe-to-toe with someone who's using the M16A3 or the FAMAS or one of those really fast RPM guns, you're going to have some problems. So one tactic that I find to be very useful with the L85A2, and this is true for a lot of weapons, but I just think it's more important and effective on this weapon, is that when you do come into a close encounter engagement, aim for the upper chest and then let the gun drift with its recoil, and then you're going to get a nice couple of headshots and take that target out pretty easily. You're going to want to have those headshots because if you don't, because with the slow RPM, you're not usually going to win those gunfights unless they're a terrible shot. And this is just, in my opinion, one of the easier ways and a very effective tactic on, like I said, a lot of weapons, but especially on the L85A2 to get those kills. So if I'm going to be using this weapon, I'm going to stick to maps like Caspian Border, Operation Firestorm, or Strike at Karkin. Those have a lot of long-range sightlines where this weapon really excels, and they also have a lot of ways for me to maneuver around the map effectively and to get into those engagements. I'm really not going to use it on the close quarter DLC maps. It just does not perform as well. You can still use it, you just have to be very patient. It's a little bit more campy, and you're going to have to go around the map a little bit more methodically so that when you do get into engagements, you're not going to be at a huge disadvantage and not everything is going to be up close and personal. So if you are going to use the gun, stick to the larger maps like Caspian Border, and you're going to have a lot more fun and just be more effective. But overall, I would say that this was a great setup recommendation. It is easily one of the best long-range weapons in the game, comparable to the AK or the Scar L that was introduced in the close quarter DLC. So if you haven't tried out this weapon and you like long-range combat, I don't know why you wouldn't have had tried this setup out. But if you haven't already, I would highly recommend it. But that's it for today's field test, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, or just want to support my channel, I always appreciate it when you give my videos a rating, and if you haven't already, subscribed for more. If you would like to submit your own setup, make sure you leave a comment down below and thumbs up the setup that you would like me to try in a future episode. But until next time, guys, have a good one, and take it easy.